Hi, this is Mike with Christian Meds. This week we're going to talk about saving faith. This is part of a 12-week series that we're working through here at christianmeds.com, and let's get started. So let's talk about faith. Faith is central to Christianity. So if you were sitting around a table and you did a gospel presentation, in other words, you walked basically the Roman road or something like that, and you start out with that we're all sinners, that we're all in the same camp, and that we need a redeemer to redeem ourselves. And you go through and you walk through the whole thing of Jesus dying on the cross, his death, burial, and resurrection, his ascension, and that he's going to come back for us, either before we die or after we pass, or fall asleep, as the Bible puts it. So what will end up happening is, let's say that there's 3 people sitting around this table listening to this presentation. One will be skeptical. One will just dismiss it, and one will get saved and have a profound shift in their lives. And why that is, with the exact same presentation, shows me clearly that God is the one who interacts. God is the one who changes people's hearts. Once that shift happens, and it happened in me, 13, 14 years ago now, and that shift makes it to where I have my earthly existence, I know, is fleeting. And I know that I have faith that God is who he said he is and can do the things he said he can do. Because of that type of faith, because of that type of shift in me, and it's personal. It happens to each Christian in its own way. But that aspect of shifting is what ends up making us no longer have a heart of stone, but have a heart of flesh. And that actually, it increases our compassion for the human race. It makes it to where we do want to pray for people. We don't just use the churchy words. In other words, I'll pray for you, and then never pray. If you truly have that shift, you probably will drop and pray with that person right now. So that is kind of a challenge. If you're not comfortable praying in public, maybe that's something you need to work on. For me, I love to be able to have an opportunity to pray over somebody, to interact with them in that manner. And I look for opportunities to do that, and that's part of my saving faith. Now, part of the controversy of faith in general in the church is people have always debated, is it a works-based faith or non-works-based faith? In other words, is it faith plus works, or is it just faith in Jesus Christ alone that makes it to where you're in right standing with God? Well, we don't add anything to what Jesus did on the cross. In other words, our faith is to help us and nurture us and help us grow. But those aspects of growing is just a natural progression and not anything that's going to earn us more favor in God's eyes. Because our favor in God's eyes is generated due to Jesus' work on the cross. His completion of that task is what gets us in right standing. Our works don't get us in right standing. What our works do is our works shape us into being more like Christ. And that's really what the key of faith is all about, is that your faith is supposed to generate you, allow you to have fruits of the Spirit, gentleness, kindness, forbearance, allow us to end up walking proudly in our faith, to allow our faith to guide us. Our faith really is broken down into three pieces. First off, our faith is that we believe that it is true. In other words, because our faith is rooted in history and not a blind faith, that is why we end up, first off, claiming an ultimate truth. The ultimate truth that Jesus is who he says he is and can do what he said he can do, which is put us in right standing. Loved us and has completed the task, has defeated the devil, that the devil no longer has a power over us, and that we can live in that joy and that fulfillment of the prophecy that Jesus fulfilled. The second aspect of faith is knowing God is not enough. In other words, the devil knew God. The devil knew who God was. But the devil did not have faith that God was out for him in a loving, caring manner. He wanted to be an adversary to God. So basically, there's only two camps. There's a camp of people that want to worship and love God, and there's a camp that want to worship and love material things, Satan, or things that basically are self-destructive. The third aspect of faith is the regenerative faith. In other words, the faith that makes you a better person. I used to be, a person that if somebody got my order wrong going through a drive-through, I was terrible to that person. I was like, why can't you get this right? I was even a lot more mean than that, But now, if somebody gets my order wrong, if somebody messes up, I treat them with love and respect. If anybody's in a service job that's basically serving me food or anything like that, I am extra nice to that person. I give bigger tips than I used to. All those things are part of the regeneration that's happened within me and changing of my heart through my faith. So I hope you enjoy this video. So come back next week. Next week we're going to talk about worship, what it means to worship God. Have a pleasant week.